Puno na laptop ko eh. Anyway, thank you kanina sa nagsasagot. No? Okay, pag-usapan naman na natin last time. Nabanggit na kanina sa saturations. No? Yung different types of saturations. Okay. And then yung mga previous natin is about sa mga heterogeneity, di ba? So, yun, continuation nito is itong sa fluid contacts and transition. So before we have a discussion here, ito muna. Review natin yung petroleum system. Di ba nabanggit ko na ito last time? Petroleum system. Ano po ba? Image niya. Okay. So kung makikita nyo, petroleum system, so we have a reservoir. No? A reservoir containing three fluids. No? Three fluids are present. Gas, oil, and water. Tama po ba? Gas, oil, water. So dito, no, dito po, makikita nyo that meron tayo mga systems or mga terms na lagay dito sa description sa illustration. So we have gas cap here, oil, and water. So yung gas cap and oil, napatagpuan mo siya sa reservoir. Review lang tayo ha, reservoir. And then, as we go down, matatagpuan nyo naman yung oil, yung kulay green. Below that, meron tayong water, accumulation of water. So, source rock. Sa source rock, kung nagmumula yung hydrocarbon, na mag-generate. Generation of hydrocarbon. So, the process of transferring of hydrocarbon from the source rock up to the reservoir rock is called migration. Diba? Migration. As well as, basta yung movement ng hydrocarbon, we call it migration. Actually, there are two types of migration. Diba? Kung natatandaan nyo. The first one is the primary migration, primary and secondary. Primary migration, so this refers to the movement of oil from the source rock up to the reservoir. Usually ganun. And then, as for the secondary migration, oil natin sa reservoir, some of them transform, sabi natin transform into gas form, and then those gas continue to flow upward. No? At the point that it accumulates to the top of the reservoir, and it is called secondary migration. That movement is called secondary migration. Once na-accumulate yung gas sa taas, so we call it gas cap. Gas cap. Now, I have a question. No? Based on this illustration, since may tatlong fluid present, oil, water, and gas. Ano kaya yung sa tingin nyo nagkakaroon ng contact dito? Ano kaya yung mga nagkaroon ng contact dito? Based on this illustration, anong fluid yung nagkaroon ng contact sa isa't isa? Ano yun? Yun lang po na maigi ha. Gas, oil, and water. Ano po kaya mga fluid na nagkaroon ng contact sa isa't isa? Anong dalawang fluid na nagkaroon ng contact sa isa't isa? Yes. Shabby. Ano ba? Shabby or Angel?
Shabby po, sir. Ano po, island water contact po.
Load. Nagano na ba? Could you please repeat yung answer? Meron ka bang sagot? Hindi ko narinig eh. Miss Shabby? Ano? Miss Angel na lang. Yung rate mo. And wild water contact. Yes, nagkaroon ng contact ang oil water. Ano pa? Aside from that, ito po nagkaroon ng contact. Yes, Lian.
Gas and oil contact din po, sir.
Sabi ni Benfield is gas and oil. Okay. So anyway, so yun nga, no? So we have two contacts happen here, which is yung gas and oil and water. So from that, yun yung ating pag-uusapan. Pag-uusapan mo yun. Mga contact na yan, fluid contacts, and as well as mga zones. Tinatawag. Okay?
Para ma-compare natin yung ating answer.
So, ito yung meron tayong graph. And then, sa ngayon, ito, hindi pa natin masyadong usapan. Yun nga, hindi pa natin ito masyadong pagtutunan ng pansin. Doon muna tayo sa mga concept. Let's first define the with contacts that happen in our reservoir as well as the zones that is present. Okay. So, okay, class, imagine you have a reservoir. No? Imagine the illustration kanina. Imagine na lang yun. A reservoir that has three fluids present. No? Oil, gas, oil, and water. No? Imagine mo na yun. So, ngayon, yung gas na nakikita na sa pinakataas is called gas zone. Okay? The opposite, you can find it at the uppermost part of the reservoir where this gas moves freely or they are mobile. Mobile sila. And usually, this zone, itong interval na yan, zone interval, it contains 100% gas saturated. Saturated siya ng gas, 100%. Since saturated siya, no? 100%, expected that there is no oil or water present in that zone. Furthermore, this gas zone exists only kapag mayroong gas cap. Pag mayroong pumipigil sa taas, gas cap. Now, so what does it imply whenever we encounter gas zone? So, pag may gas zone, expected na kapag nag-produce ka, mataas din yung chance na magkaroon ka ng gas production. High gas production rate. Mataas. Next, it controls early GOR behavior. So, when you say GOR, yun yung ratio between gas and oil. Diba? So, kapag may gas na present, mayroong gas zone, expected that there is a GOR, gas-oil ratio, na tinatawag. So, kung gusto mong kontrolin yan, or let's say, kung gusto mong pababain ang gas-oil ratio mo, di bawasan mo yung saturation ng gas zone. Bawasan mo. Yun yun. Obviously, di ba? Kung gusto mo babaan yung ratio ng gas-oil ratio, alisin mo yung gas saturation. Babaan mo. Mag-produce ka doon sa gas zone. Okay? However, hindi siya ideally na gawin mag-produce sa gas zone. Kasi, gas cap, okay, provides reservoir energy through expansion. Pag kasi nag-produce ka, di ba, reservoir, let's say, yung reservoir mo may gas, di ba? And yung gas doon is highly compressible. Na-compress. So, kapag binutasan mo siya, yung compressed gas, magsisimula na mag-expand. No? And that expansion causes pressure, no? Causes energy, drives out. Drives out from the reservoir. Yun. Yun ang tutulak sa ating papunta sa surface. Kaya hindi talaga ideally alisin ang o i-produce ang gas. So, mga gas. Sayang kasi. Next, gas oil contact. So, sinabing gas oil contact, it pertains to the depth, specific depth at which yung free gas natin, natutawag. Free gas and then yung free oil are in contact under static conditions. Para they are in equilibrium. Equal sila. So, above the gas oil contact, yung gas zone na tinatawag. No? And then below the gas oil, yung oil zone. Yung free oil. So, in other definition pa is this gas oil contact separates mobile gas and mobile oils. Yun eh. And then, take note, yung gas oil contact natin, during production, akala nyo, hindi na siya nagbabago. Ang akala ng iba, hindi nagbabago. Ang gas oil contact ko is around nasa 1,000. Pero after ko mag-produce yung gas oil contact ko, nagbago. Gas lalong lumalim, naging 1,500. So yun, possible na mangyari. Okay? Hindi siya fixed. So, possible na mangyari. Bakit nagbabago? Because of expansion. Yung compressed gas mo na nasa gas cap, nag-expand. So, tendency, magbago yung gas oil contact. Naunawaan ba ito? Sa gas oil contact. Tandaan ha, hindi siya zone, hindi siya interval, hindi specific depth. Specific depth lang siya. Okay? Next, gas oil transition zone. So, pag sinabing gas oil transition zone, we're pertaining to the interval, vertical interval around the GOC, where gas and oil coexist. So, gas, possible naman, di ba? Nangyayari naman ito. Possible kasi na two fluids coexist in four spaces. Di ba? Kung yung water and oil na nag-exist sa isang four spaces, ito pa kaya oil and gas, di ba? So, bakit? Because of the capillary pressure. Capillary pressure. Kaya possible na within the grains of the reservoir, may gas doon and then may oil na nakastore. Okay? Ngayon, paano nag-collect ng free gas oil transition zone and then gas oil contact? Ito po isipin nyo ha. So, meron tayong free kasi taas, and then after nun, magkakaroon tayo ng gas oil transition. So, gas oil transition, sa interval na yun, kapag habang lumalalim, unti-unting bumababa yung gas saturation, unti-unti yung gas na present, and then, nagsisimula naman dumami yung oil na present. Until it reaches the gas oil contact. Gas oil contact. Okay? So, after nun, sa gas oil contact, yun yung certain depth, diba? Kumbaga yun kasi yung usually below siya ng transition zone. Ng gas oil transition zone. After nun, ng gas oil contact, okay, doon papasok si oil zone, may free oil. Wait lang ha, before we proceed dyan. Gas oil transition zone, balik tayo dito. So, nakalagay kasi dito, itong zone na to, luminipis at kumakapal. So, depende sa case. No? Madalas manipis siya, magiging manipis yung transition zone kapag highly permeable yung reservoir. No? Highly permeable. Bakit ba nagiging highly permeable yung reservoir? Because of the capillary pressure. Okay? Okay, i-connect natin ha. I-connect natin yung capillary pressure sa pagiging highly permeable ng reservoir. Forget about it. Kapag po ang reservoir mo or sa transition zone, so, kapag sa transition zone, yung drains doon, ang capillary pressure mababa yung capillary pressure. Ibig sabihin, yung fluid doon, kung ano mang fluid na present doon, madali lang sila mag-flow. No, madali lang sila mag-flow. And then, kung madali sila mag-flow, sabihin, highly permeable yun. Matatawag mo siyang highly permeable. Tama? Diba? Ganyan. And then, so anong connect nun? Bakit siya lumilipis? Anong connect nun? Yung highly permeable yung gas mo, yung sabihin, yung gas and oil na present doon sa transition zone, madali lang mag-separate sa isa't isa. Kung madali na kung nagsaseparate sila, possible yung transition zone ay lumipis na manipis. Yun. So may konti na lang or matipis na lang yung zone na kung saan may gas and oil at the same time. So, yun yung kanyang explanation. Next, kailan siya nagiging makapal? Kailan makapal yung gas oil transition zone? So, yun naman ay kabaliktaran ng kanina. No? So, tight. No? Tight formation. Ibig sabihin nun, tight formation, yung pore spaces mo ay maliliit. No? Pag maliliit yung pore spaces mo, the capillary pressure is mataas. Mataas ang capillary pressure. So, yung fluid na present doon, yung oil and water, gas and oil, ay mahirapan mag-separate o mahirapan sila mag-flow. Mahirapan sila mag-flow or mag-move. So, hindi sila basta-basta mag-separate. So, that's why makapal yung transition zone. Okay. How about this one, no? Heterogeneous formation. So, yun din. No? Mahirap i-predict yung transition zone or mahirap magbigay ng accurate transition zone kung heterogeneous ang formation. So, that's why sinasabi na nila is kinakapalan na nila yung transition zone. Kasi, halimbawa, in reality, ang reaction mo kasi is heterogeneous lang. Bakit? May highly permeable, meron hindi. Minsan ay alternative, minsan hindi naman, minsan consistent, pero hindi naman, not all the time. So, from that, the tendency is to assume that this certain interval is gas or transition zone, no? Due to its heterogeneity. Hindi kasi ma-predict mo maayos. Or masabi ng maayos. No? Ito ay highly permeable or low. Yun. So, tendency is we are having less transition zone. Speaker. Okay?
Kasi tatanong ko di ba bawal na
Okay. Next. So, oil or resin. Okay. So, sa oil zone, in this zone,
Ocean
expected that
formation of
there is oil present here. Obviously, from the word itself. And then, in this zone, oil is mobile. No? Pwedeng gumalaw. Pwede siya gumalaw. Okay? And then, possible that in this zone does exist. Pero, it is considered as dissolved gas.
Bigyan ng jacket yan.
Dissolved gas.
Okay? Yan.
Yun. So, gas exists. Yun yan. So, yung gas natin, ulitin ko ha. Yung gas natin, pwede exist doon. Basta, yung oil na yun, no, nag-change ng phase with the pressure, temperature, and then, some of the oil there, no, naging gas. No? So, yung term na tinatawag natin yan is dissolved gas. Next. So, as for the water present, no, though may present ng water, still hindi siya mapoproduce. Bakit? Kasi siya ay immobile. Hindi gumagalaw. So, ano implication kapag sinabi oil zone? So, pag ikaw ay nag-produce dito, primarily, mapoproduce mo is oil. Okay? And then, since ito nga ay saturated with oil, no, with high saturation, so therefore, expected that you will get high oil relative probability, mataas din yung probability ng oil dito. And then, siyempre, ito yung laging tinatarget when it comes to well completion. Okay? Pag nag-well completion ka, ito yung pinaperforate, ito yung binubutas, ito yung pinaproduce lagi. Okay? Oil. Itong oil zone. Okay? Next, oil-water contact. So, this refers to the depth. A certain depth na kung saan yung oil natin nasa taas ng water. So, meron tayong oil and water. Oil sa taas, water sa baba. Okay? Yeah. Above the oil-water contact is yung oil-bearing rock. And then below the oil-water contact is yung water-bearing rock. So, how do we find or define this oil-water contact? We can find the oil-water contact by using the logs and saturation data. So, balikan natin information evaluation. So, what particular log do you think will be useful when it comes to identifying the oil-water contact? Alin pa yung well log ang usually ginagamit? Determine if the fluid present at that certain depth is oil and water. Ano kaya yun? Recall lang natin. Ano kayang well log ang ginagamit? No? Na nakakapagbigay ng information na ayun ay water na present, oil na present. Anong kaya? Ano kaya yun? Or ano man yun? Ano kaya yun? Anyone? Ano kaya yun? Review tayo ng well logs. Ano kaya yung log? Kung saan, kapag curve siya, deflect to left, deflection to right, no? Magbibigay sa'yo ng idea na, okay, sa certain depth na ito ay may tubig. Sa certain depth ito ay may langis. Ano kaya yun? What type of well log provides information about fluid type present in the reservoir? Ano kaya yun? Yes, no, resistivity lag. Okay? So, resistivity lag using that cloud, no? Yung mga curve niya, yung mga linya-linya niya, provides information. What type of fluid present? No, what type of fluid is present? So, syempre, pag kapag nakuha mo ng data or reading is highly resistive, ibig sabihin, oil yun, hydrocarbon is present. Otherwise, kung highly conductive, no, edi water. Okay? So, from that, we can determine kung kung ano dyan yung oil-water contact. Okay? Next, so it is identified mainly also by using by using the saturation data. So sa paano natin nakuha yung saturation data? Kasi wala talagang walang specific lang na magbibigay ng saturation data, pero yun ay pinocompute, no? Pwedeng computin. Okay? Through equation. Using the Arches equation, pwede yun. Arches equation. Yun ang naman ang kailangan dito. No? So, all water contact, kung gusto mo ma-determine siya, just use the resistivity log, most commonly resistivity log, and then get the saturation data for it from that depth. Nakalagay pa dito is it is not always a sharp interface due to capillary pressure. So, hindi mo kasi pwedeng magbasihan yung capillary pressure. Di ba kapag sinabi capillary pressure, yun yung it pertains to the pressure difference between two fluids, no, in a porous medium. So sa reservoir rock natin, meron present na oil and gas, oil and water rather. So, present lang siya, pero yung ibig sabihin yun is magkasama pa. Movable. Kumbaga. Okay? So, next. Later on, no, meron na i-describe pa ng isang level. Ipa-compare natin kung ano ba magkaiba ng oil water contact sa isang definition na yun. No? This one. Dito tayo. So, oil water transition zone. So, here, it is somehow similar with the transition zone kanina, oil and gas. So, this time, we have a transition zone between oil and water. Okay? And in this interval, oil and water coexist. So, for spaces na to, and zone na to, oil and water is present. Both. So, as the depth, as we go deeper sa transition zone, the water saturation increases. And then, yung oil saturation decreases naman, bumababa. Another thing, in this zone, yung oil natin is still movable, nagalaw pa naman, napoproduce pa naman. So, kung movable siya, expected mo, the water also here is movable. Nagalaw din. So, that's why it is the source of early water production. So, kapag naglagay ka ng production well, and then, hindi mo iniwasan or, yun nga, nalagay mo ito sa transition zone, so expected that you will produce water at early stage. At early stage of production. Next, critical for net pay determination. So, critical. So, it is considered as the threshold when it comes to pay zone. threshold to. So, pag nakita mo nga, na yung oil water transition dun, okay. So, start na muna tayong i-assess kung itutuloy ba natin yung pag-produce sa ibaba. O hanggang dito na lang ating production sa interval na to. Yun. Okay? So, yun ang ibig sabihin no? Critical for pay determination. So, we have free water level. So, ito na yun. Ang free water level and oil water contact ay hindi magkaparehas. No? Pag sinabing free water level, so it pertains to certain level or certain depth at which the oil pressure equals water pressure. So, really, hindi na sila nag-aaway when it comes to the pore spaces. Ito. So, above the free water level, below the free water level, it tells you that, okay, there is 100% water saturation here. Yep. 100% na siya. And then above the free water level, it gives you information that it's still the pressure between the water and oil are not equal. Meron pa rin present ng water ng oil doon sa zone. So, ang context kasi dito is pressure, yung capillary pressure. Capillary pressure. So, ito na kayo. The free water level is a pressure reference na zone. So, again, depth, no? It is it pertains to certain depth na zone. Okay. Next, it is deeper than the oil-water contact. So, yun nga, yung oil-water contact, by the way, kung saan nyo siya matatagpuan, it is within the transition zone, no? Oil-water transition zone. So, particularly siya ay nasa baba, below. Pero hindi ibig sabihin sa pinaka-baba talaga. Nasa below siya, within the transition zone, below na sa ibaba, pero hindi sa pinaka-last part. Kasi doon sa last part, doon mo matatagpuan yung water level. Usually ganun.
Mo lang ako.
Kasi ito ha. So, kasi kapag bumaba kasi ng bumaba ka ng oil water contact, may oil pa rin doon, pero usually yun ay immovable oil. Nagigets niya? Like residual oil. Pero pagdating dito sa free water level, pag bumaba ka ng free water level, makukuha mo na dyan is 100% saturation ng water. Nagigets nyo ba? Yung sabihin ko? Yun. Okay? And then, last, so sa baba ng free water level, hindi tinatawag tong water zone. Ito yung interval kung saan it contains 100% water, and then the water here, the water pressure is mobile, yung gumagalaw. And since it is 100% water, expected that oil and gas here are absent. Yes, it is a non-productive interval kasi hindi ka naman kikita sa tubig unless geothermal ka. And yeah. So identifying the water zone, it gives you information about the water influx. How water influx, when it comes to water dead reservoir. So that's the aquifer is big enough, or the water zone. Ang aquifer at water zone halos isa lang. That's the aquifer big enough to give energy to the reservoir. Yun na yun. Enough ba siya to push the hydrocarbon up to the surface? Yan. Yun yun sa water zone. Okay? Kaya mahalagang ma-identify natin yung water zone. Okay. before we proceed sa implication, no? So let's based sa discussion natin ngayon, ano kaya ang pagkakasunod-sunod ng ating lesson block? Ating mga fluid contacts and as well as zone. So yun nga po, review tayo. So again, in phase natin, we have a reservoir, contains 3 fluid, gas, oil, and water. So ano ang pagkakasunod-sunod nila? Again, ano po pagkakasunod-sunod nila? From the top, no? From the top up to the bottom. Sige nga po, ano-ano kaya po yun? Anyone? Simulan natin sa pinakataas. Ano nga ba yung una natin di-discuss doon? Sa pinakataas.
Parang sila pa din ang
Ano nga po kayo? Okay, yes. Angel, Miss Angel.
Una po, ang una po
The
is
arrangement
gas.
of those fluid contacts and as well as the zones.
First po is gas zone. Sunod
Ano ka ba? Nagsasalita ka ba? Hindi ko marinig. Wala akong narinig pala. Naka, sorry. Sige. Ay, pala. So, meanwhile, habang nagtatype si Miss Angel, how about the others? No? Anyone who wants to speak up? Magsalita. Wala, huwag kayo nahiya. Ako naman yung makikinig naman ng ayos. Ano kaya pagkakasunod mo? Anyone? Ano po kaya? So, sabi ni Miss Angel, gas zone, gas oil contact, okay? Gas oil transition zone. Oil zone, oil water contact, oil water transition zone, may water level, water zone. So, ito, may sa arrangement. May konting error lang. So, ganito. So, tama naman, no? So, imagine you have a reservoir. So, gas zone na pinakataas, no? Gas cap or gas zone. Next, before tayo magkaroon ng gas oil contact, magkakaroon muna ng gas oil transition zone. No? Gas oil transition zone. Kung baga, unti-unti mo na magdi-decrease yung present ng gas dun sa oil. Unti-unti mo mawawala yung present ng gas and then mapapunta ng oil. No? And then, doon magkakaroon ng gas oil contact. No? Within dun sa part na yon, sa gas oil zone, or gas oil transition zone, meron doon gas oil contact. No? Sa pinakababa. Dun sa part na yon, no? In-depth na yun, yung contact na yun kung saan yun yung hati, somehow naghahati ng free gas ng mga gas bearing rock sa taas and then oil bearing rock sa baba. Next, so below the gas oil contact, edi oil zone. Tama? And then after ng oil zone, magkakaroon ng oil water transition zone. No? Sa oil water transition zone, nangyari dyan is yung oil na present, saturation na, unti-unti bumababa as we go deeper dun sa zone na yun, oil water transition zone. And then, after ng oil water transition zone, punta tayo sa dadaan tayo ng oil water contact. Yung oil water contact ay yun yung it is determined by the saturation, no? Saturation delta. And then, supported by resistivity lang. So, usually, it gives information that above the oil water contact is oil bearing zone pa siya, and then sa baba niya is water bearing zone. Water bearing zone. But still, the water bearing zone siya, there are still oil na present doon, but those are immovable oil. And then, after noon, ng oil water contact, nakakatagpuan mo na dun yung free water level. Yung free water level or yung depth na yun. So that depth indicates that, okay, yung pressure or the pressure between the fluid, oil, and water are equal. Equal sila at equilibrium. So, hindi na sila naglalaban in terms of capillary forces. Now, sa baba ng free water level is yung water zone. Sabihin nyo, sa water zone na yun, you're sure that it is 100% water zone na yun. And then yung water, expected that yung water na yun is mobile. No, gumagalaw talaga. Okay. Now, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Angel. Now, punta tayo sa implications niya. Implications. Lahat natin nahanap o inaalam tong OWC, oil water contact. So, oil water contact. So, una, hindi nga, sabi natin, oil water contact. Para malaman natin, so kailangan natin is alam natin yung saturation, diba? And usually, it defines or give you information about the lowest producible oil interval. So, pag alam mo oil water contact, di alam mo rin kung malalaman mo rin kahit paano yung transition zone, yung oil water transition zone, as well as yun nga, malalaman mo kung hanggang saan yung critical threshold or critical net pay. Hanggang saan ka lang economically, hanggang saan ka lang mag-produce ng oil. So, ito yun. So, paano kung nagkamali ka determine ng oil water contact? So, halimbawa, so, pag masyadong malalim, possible na ma-overestimate yung research. Akala mo, madami ka recover na oil, hindi pala. Next, kung masyadong mababaw yung oil water contact, determine yung oil water contact, edi possible na mababa yung ma-predict mong oil research. Sayang naman. Hindi mo siya na-quantify ng ayos. So that's why, kapag okay o tama yung oil water contact mo, edi makukuha mo ng maayos yung oil, yung original oil intake, yung initial oil intake, as well as yung reserves, kung ano namang mga reserves meron doon. Okay, next, well completion design. So, sa well completion, pag sinabing well completion, so, define muna natin kung anong well completion for those students na hindi alam. So, pag sinabing well completion, magsimula tayo sa exploration, diba? Exploration, nag-build tayo. Appraisal tayo to appraisal drilling to determine to economically viable. So, once na okay, settled, na-determine mo na siya economically viable. So, isin tayo sa production. So, upon during the production phase, magkakaroon muna tayo ng well completion. So, sasementohan muna natin yung drill natin. Kasi hindi naman po lahat, hindi lahat ng reserva, di ba? Okay, hindi naman lahat ng reserva ay may pay zone. Kaya nga inaral natin yung net produce, di ba? Net produce ratio. So, hindi naman lahat kasi pay zone. Hindi lahat ng buong reserva na yung pay zone. So, nilagay tayo ng completion, na sasementohan, and then ipaperforate lang natin yung area or yung interval na kung saan tayo ay kikita. So, halimbawa, para saan nga ba yun? Halimbawa, nalaman natin yung oil-water contact. Nalaman natin yung oil-water contact. So, ibigay information na, okay, sa taas ng oil-water contact, meron tayong mag-produce na langis. Yun. Eh, di doon ka na magpo-perforate sa taas. Alam ka mag-perforate ka sa baba ng oil-water contact, and expected na perform mo halos tubig. Diba? Yun. And then, if you going to analyze it further, yung oil-water contact, hindi mo ilalapit yung perforation mo sa mismo oil-water contact, di ba? Kasi, makakapag-produce ka ng water at early stage. So, taas-taasan mo syempre. Para to the point na makuha mo yung target mo zone is yung free oil. Okay? Okay. Next, production forecasting. So, yun nga. So, pag nalaman mo yung oil-water contact, hindi pwede mo mag-predict. Estimate na. Simulate dun. Okay. Kung yung simulate, pwede mo mag-simulate ka na predict kung ilan yung at what ilan yung oil na makuha mo. At the same time, at what year ka magkakaroon ng water breakthrough, and then yun na, makomplete mo yung water cut zones. Ang sinabing water cut zones yun po ay yung ratio ng water na napoproduce mo over time. Yes. Another thing, tabs predict economic. So, good. Itinan mo ba kung hanggang saan yung gano'ng kalalim yung begin, kung perforate, ilang ba, ilang interval ba, yun. Yung mga tinatawag na economic things. Next, reservoir characterization. So, since alam mo yung oil-water contact, hindi, paano, na-imagine mo, or na ano mo na, visualize mo, kung ano yung nasa subsurface.
Sa malapit sa Ampi.
Tulad doon, di ba pinakita ko yung itsura ng sa petroleum system? Since alam mo yung oil-water contact, hindi alam mo na, okay, sa baba ng oil-water contact, free water lang. Yun, mga ganun. Okay? Next. What are the importance of knowing this free water level? Diba? Sabi nga natin yung free water level, it refers to that pressure equilibrium reference time. No? Kumbaga, yung water natin dito, oil natin dito is at equilibrium. Yeah? So, equilibrium naman yung free water level sa taas ng expected na meron pa rin oil na present. Pero usually yung oil residual or hindi na gumagalaw. And then, below the free water level, expected na 100% na water na present doon. Okay? So, bakit nga ba, bakit natin inaalam pa itong free water level? So, pag na-predict mo yung free water level, kasunod mo is makukuha mo yung very limited water zone. Yung water zone na tinatawag. And then, pag na-predict mo yung water zone, pwede mo ma-determine yung interval o gano'ng kalapad o kalaki yung water zone or yung aquifer na tinatawag. So, pag malaki yung aquifer, malaki yung water influx, malaki yung price na nagkaroon ka lang dry mechanism. Mataas yung dry mechanism, particularly yung water dry mechanism. And then yun nga, so magagamit natin yun para sa material balance natin. Okay? Equation. Next. Yeah. Defining the transition zone. So, yun nga. Yung OWC water. Wala yung conduct natin and free water level na sa pagitan lang is it is also called transition zone pa rin. Pero, yun nga. It pertains lang actually sa capillary. Capillary. Kasi, yun nga, sa part na yun, yung sa between of OWC and FWC, meron pa rin fluid na present. Meron fluid na present doon, which is yung oil and water. Oil and water, na kung saan naglalaban sila when it comes to pressure. Diba? Capillary. So, another thing, no? So, in this transition zone, diba, gives you information kung anong klaseng rock siya. Kung siya ay focus o hindi, saan yung effect, you can characterize kung anong property siya. No? Next, sa pore size distribution, since we're talking about capillary, no, pwede natin ma-determine dyan kung siya ay mataas yung capillary or low. Depende sa pulse. Size. So, present in a porous medium, no? And yeah, porous medium na is yung grains, di ba? Mga grains doon. No? Yan, malalaman mo yung wettability niya kung siya ay it depends on capillary sources. Nawala tayo.
Parang ang excess mo sa 12,
Ulit. Nawala tayo. Nawala ang signal. Ulit ko So, yun nga. So, deep zone, no? Masasabi mo na siya yung deep zone, yung transition zone. Kapag information is tight, pag tight information expected, yung pore size pressure. No? Ay, correct. Kapag ang masasabi mo na transition is thin, maliit. Kapag yung capillary pressure or is mababa, and then this indicate that your size, no, is malalaki yung butas. No? Pag malaki yung butas, makapag-flow ng maayos yung fluids, and then be highly permeable yung rock. Diba? So, yung mga magagandang information na pwede mo ay good information na makakatulong to interpret the reservoir model. Okay. Next, aquifer characterization. So, yun nga. Free water level sa baba nun. Pag na-define mo, nakukuha mo yung ma-determine mo yung water zone. And that water zone refers to the aquifer. Yung zone na yun, sa interval na yun, Ano yung aquifer. Pag mas malaki yung aquifer, malaki yung chance na magkaroon ka ng water drive mechanism. Malaki yung drive mechanism mo from water. Okay? Yan. So, to sum it up, I have this table to understanding, to have a better understanding with each zone and function. So, halimbawa, if you're going to identify the gas zone, so the good question here is, will I produce gas? No? Kapag kung nakakapag-produce ka ng gas, ulitin ko. So, kapag nakakapag-produce ka ng gas, so basically, that pertains to gas zone. No? Nakapag-produce ka ng gas lamang. No? Kapag ikaw ay nakapag-produce ng gas and oil, so that pertains to gas oil transition zone. Okay? And then, kapag na-reach mo yung depth na kung saan wala ng gas and then halos oil na yung simula, no? That is gas oil contact. Next. So, kung gusto mo na malaman kung saan ka magpa-perforate and then kung saan ka magpa-perforate para maka-produce ng oil lamang, no? Halos oil, edi ang dapat mo hanapin is yung oil zone. Okay? And then, para ma-assess mo yung ilang water cut, water cut na meron sa reservoir, no? Try mong hanapin or assess yung oil-water transition zone. And then, kung gusto mo ma-determine yung oil-water contact, no? Tingnan mo kung aling depth, at what certain depth, no? At what certain depth makakapag-produce pa ka ng oil. No? Pag bumaba ako sa depth na to, makakapag-produce pa ba ng oil? Or kapag sa taas ng certain depth ito, ay, yun nga, nag-produce ako, yun nga, oil, may continuous pa ba yung oil na napoproduce ko? Ganon. Next, sa free water level. So, yun nga. Para ma-determine mo yung free water level, tingnan mo na yung saturation. So, kapag ba sa certain depth ito, sa certain depth ito, halimbawa 1,000. Pag bumaba ako dyan, meron pa ba akong oil na mapaproduce? Yung saturation level ba, data, based on the saturation data, babago pa ba? And then sa water zone, so to assess if this is a water zone, no, edi dapat, no, it answers the question, is this only water? No? Is this only water here? No? Kung nag-produce ka dito. So those are questions na will guide you, no, to determine following zone and contact ng isang petroleum system, ng ating isang reservoir. Okay? So, yun. That sums up our discussion for today. And then, next week, no? Next week tayo ay laboratory. Or di naman sa laboratory. Parang ano tayo? Coursework, no? Kung ano man. May bibigyan mga data, then try natin analyze, no? Aralin mabuti. No? This will serve as your preparation para sa ating more advanced topic, no? Material balance equation, and as well as for the next topic natin na fluid behavior, no? Reservoir fluid behavior. Okay? So, yun lang. No? Meron pa ba kayong gustong i-share or tanong regarding sa ating topic? Or concern, kung di man sa topic, concern sa ating subject. Meron ba?
Kung hindi naman kayo alam, wala naman kayo.